This piece of Lisa is being brought to you by Mutual Security Credit Union. Find out more at mscu.com. Pretty much that's all that anybody's got left. The money is gone. The stock market is crashing. The house prices are upside down. But some people still have a little bit of gold stashed away. And with gold at record high prices, they're trying to say to themselves, where should I go to get an honest person to get an appraisal? And how do I turn this into money? So we've asked Joe Candella to come on the show with us today. He is the owner of CT Gold Buyers, Connecticut Gold Buyers. And Joe, I know you're having a very busy day. So thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, I understand you're a GIA graduate and you're somebody who assesses gemstones as well as gold. Tell me something. What's happening in your store? Are people bringing in their gold and turning it in for cash?
In record numbers. I've been in Connecticut doing this since 1992, and probably just this past month, the volume maybe 10 times what we normally do. So it's very popular right now. The prices are very high, and they're supporting people being able to go out there and get higher prices for jewelry they've spent thousands of dollars on. And also the economy is probably forcing a lot of those people to make that choice. So it's pretty tremendous.
So let me ask you this. When somebody takes a gold chain to you, is it worth the gold or is it worth the jewelry of the workmanship of the chain? Tell me how you assess a value.
Everything right now is based on the gold value. We've exceeded the period of where people were willing to pay premium prices for secondhand jewelry because the gold prices are so high. So everything right now is just looked at as scrap gold, which is probably worth more now than if you were to sell your jewelry 5 years ago when the market was prime, just as used jewelry. So it's a good time to take advantage of the high prices, as long as you're getting paid the right rate.
I was going to ask you that, but let me just ask you this. Is it only gold, or is it also silver, platinum, and other metals?
No, we buy all kinds of precious metals, gold, silver, platinum. We have technology here to identify precious metals, so if you have something that's not stamped or you're not sure what it is, we don't have to destroy your piece. We can put it on one of our XRF analyzers and determine exactly what the content is of that metal and get you paid appropriately.
So what is the difference? If I hear that gold is $1,800 an ounce, does that mean that am I going to get $1,800 an ounce for my gold? What's my markdown?
Your markdown is if you have jewelry scrap, which is typically 14 to 18 karat, you're going to get a return of about 80% based on the current price. One thing a lot of people confuse, they hear that gold is $1,825 today, so they believe their 14-karat piece is worth that much per ounce. But 14-karat is simply just it's gold alloyed with copper, nickel, and silver. There's only about 58.5% of actual gold content in that, so you have to deduct for that first, and then typically you're going to get, when you come here, we're paying out about 85% of the actual value of the gold that's in that alloy.
Okay, so if something was worth $100 and then it's 58% would be 58, and then you'll get 85% of the 58 because that's the equivalent of what the value is to you to buy it from somebody else.
Exactly.
Okay. And is that gold that's now being melted down in vast quantities, what's happening with it, Joe?
All that gold is now getting refined and it's getting turned back into gold bullion and bought up and being stored in bank vaults and by investors who are worried about the value of their currencies and other investments.
So they're literally turning jewelry into bars of gold and stashing it someplace and thinking that the currency is going to move away from paper to something else?
Yeah, I think that's really the big fear right now. There seems to be a panic in a lot of people that are coming in here, just in converting their gold into cash to pay off debts that they currently have, and actually store that cash for future use for food or whatever it is it might be. But it seems like a lot of people are having problems paying their mortgage.
Well, that I know. Yeah, I understand why people would turn in their gold that they don't wear anymore and they don't care about. And jewelry goes out of style like everything else. And
it does, and it pretty much has. So, a lot of people, for the prices that we're paying right now, they're more than happy to sell it. They're actually pretty impressed and excited with the checks that they're leaving here with.
And how are you being able to finance all this? Do you have your own factors and stuff? It's sort of like a gold rush for you?
Yeah, no, I've been established for a long time now. I've been doing this, like I said, in Connecticut since 1992. So my bank account, has stayed pretty big through all this, and I'm able to buy everything that comes at me.
I'm talking to Joe.
We do a lot of big transactions here, so
you do.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Joe Candella, owner of CT Gold Buyers, which is located in Wallingford, Connecticut. Thanks for being with us, Joe. So how do we determine, as members of the public, the Joe Schnooks of the world or the Jane Schnooks, how do we know that we're having a fair scale and a fair assessment of our property?
Well, I'm right in Wallingford, which is really centrally located in Connecticut. If you visit my website at ctgold.com, the prices that we're currently paying are live. Every minute they update based on the COMEX market whenever the market's open. So you can go to that website, write down the prices we're paying. They're listed in pennyweight, which is abbreviated DWT, and in grams. And then you could call around and talk to the people in your area and see if they're willing to match or beat those prices.
And how do we know the scale is honest?
The scale you'll see is actually based on the live COMEX price, and you could simply do the math. Just get a calculator. You take that gold price. If you divide it by 20, divide troy ounces by 20, that's going to give you pennyweights. So, that's another thing that confuses people. There's pennyweights, and there's grams, and there's troy ounces. Just to give you a brief on that, when gold was commonly traded, back in the old days, everything went through London. And they devised the weight schemes over there, and everything was based on a troy ounce, and a pennyweight was the divisible weight to break that down into smaller amounts. And that's why everybody in the industry uses pennyweights. Whereas when you buy gold, you're usually weighing it in grams because it's a metric unit. Most of your gold jewelry is made in Europe, so that's where there's a big divide. But if you go to our website, we convert everything. The price is the same. If you do the math, but it's just for the ease of the user to be able to figure out from a scale at their house approximately what they could get paid for their gold if they were to sell it today.
So in other words, you can weigh your gold on your scale if it's sensitive enough, and then you go to your scale and it should be the same weight, but it'll be reflected in a different measurement.
Right, and if your users weren't able to do that successfully, they could just simply call me and I could walk them through the process. It's very simple. All
right. Are you So what are you personally thinking about all this? This is a really good time for you to be in this business, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely a great time to be in the business. We're busier than ever, and I'm sure that's going to, it's like a bubble like any other market. We're going to be so busy right now. I have 4 full-time people on staff. Normally, it would take me 1 or 2 people to run this place. And at some point, since no one's buying jewelry any longer, there's going to be nothing left out there.
No, no one's buying. They're just selling the jewelry.
Everyone's just selling their jewelry. No one's buying it. Like back in the day when I first started in business, we would buy and then sell an equal amount almost every day. People were still wearing gold chains and bracelets and things like that. But now things seem a lot more simpler. Jewelry is just not in style like it was. So.
Or it's fake. I mean, you accessorize for $10 or $15.
Right, exactly. So I think people are willing to wear more fashionable items that are far less valuable.
Wow, this is so interesting. I do have one question from one of the people who has emailed in who would like to know, is there a difference in price based on the quality of gold? In other words, is 10K versus 14K versus 18K, does that denote a difference in the quality of the gold?
Yeah, that denotes a difference in the purity of the gold. So the higher the carat, the more gold that's actually in the alloy. 24 karat is pure gold, and that's what you'll see bullion minted in 999 fine or 49s fine. Jewelry commonly is, in the USA, is 14 or 18 karat, and then the lower grade is 10 karat. And then when you go to Middle Eastern and Asian countries, they'll use 21 karat and higher. So the more higher the carat is, the higher our payout price is.
Okay, and also one other question. What is a Krugerrand? Is a Krugerrand pure gold, and how much do they trade for right now?
Yeah, a Krugerrand right now, if you were to come in here today, it's $25 less than the spot price we would pay you, so it would be $1,800 per 1 ounce at coin. A Krugerrand is near pure gold. It's actually about 92% pure gold. It does have some copper, but there is a full ounce of gold in it, and it's traded as it's traded as a commodity, just like any other bullion product.
And it's okay. So okay. And then someone else is asking. The questions are coming in. Gold coins per se, would those be melted down? Would those be weighted, or would those be evaluated as a coin with a different kind of a value?
Gold coins that are rare would be evaluated as a numismatic product versus gold coins that are not rare or in poor condition would be evaluated as for its gold value.
Are you a numismatic dealer as well?
I get into that market when I have time to really get into it. It's a lot easier if you do have coin that you believe is rare at this stage. You really want to send it out to a professional like PCGS or NGC and have the coin professionally graded, and then it's going to be accepted as that grade in the market, and then you can sell it for that. Whereas if you just go around, if it's not graded by a professional, anyone is going to look at it and they know that in order to sell it for full value, they'll have to have it graded. So you'll end up ahead in the long run if you have them professionally graded.
That's Joe Candella. We're chatting with owner of CT Gold Buyers, and your website is ctgoldbuyers.com. You're in Wallingford. Joe, thank you very much for being with us today and educating us about the gold rush of 2011.
Thanks for having me.
A pleasure, a pleasure.
Right, take care now.
You're listening to the Lisa Wexler Show. Our phone is 203-845-3044. Let's go to James. James, you've got a gold story. Tell us.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
I just want to share a story. I have a friend of mine who had got her jewelry together, and we were hanging out, and we went to, I'm not going to obviously give the name of the place, but we went to a couple places that are like Johnny-come-latelys that have popped up in the mall. And I have to say they're kind of what you'd expect from a place like that. It was a lot of pressure, and based on the numbers that were given, if you go to a shop that's like the gentleman that you just had on that's been established for a while, you'll see that they'll give you a price and they'll say this is what it is, and it's not so much a take it or leave it, but there's no pressure because they know what they're doing is the fair price. So I mean, you really have to shop around. Make sure that you're going to someone who has been around, and there are places that do it.
I know. Well, that was my feeling. I was very anxious to get somebody on that was reputable because I've been pretty scared myself, but this guy seems to have been in the business a very long time. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a scary thing when you're selling your jewelry. There's a sentimental aspect to it anyway. And although there doesn't have to be, I suppose, but I never had that much jewelry myself to accumulate. So for me, there would be a sentimental aspect to it. But on the other hand, cash is cash.
Yeah, when it came down to it, at the end of the day, the little shop in West that bought my friend's jewelry ended up giving her about 9% more than what the mall shop was offering.
Is that right?
And at that point, it was a pretty large difference.
Well, at $1,800 an ounce, James, we have not seen these numbers in our lifetime. I mean, you sound pretty young, and I'm pretty young. I have not seen these numbers, and I'm 50 in my lifetime.
The day, gold even eclipsed platinum, which has never happened.
Right, because that's true. Platinum was always the most expensive metal as a jewel metal, but gold, if they're going to make it the new currency, has a speculative value being attached to it that surpasses the metal value per se anyway. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
True. Yeah. Well, James, thank you for the call and thanks for the warning.
Thanks, Lisa.
You've just been listening to A Piece of Lisa. If you'd like to listen to the whole 2-hour show, please go to lisawexler.com where all shows are archived. And do follow me on Twitter @Lisa Wexler. Thanks for listening.